let's. Oh, did you just start up? Ah, you just started up on the actual stream. One sec. Okay. Never mind. I guess we're starting already. I was gonna do with the. I was gonna go with the test stream, but that was apparently Streamlabs decided to go with not the test stream, which is slightly annoying. But you know what? I'll make it work. Let me just. Yeah, I know. I don't know what happened with it. It should be working on the correct one. Sorry for anybody listening right now. This is not the technical thing that I was. Uh, yeah, that's a test stream, but the actual stream link, the one that's in the tweet, is the one that we're on now. Yeah, I was yeah, I wanted to start on the test stream, but it decided to go with the actual stream instead. Yeah, but otherwise we're live now. Yeah, no, nothing ever does. I often wonder how the hell Ashley pulls it off. In fact, the last couple of days she was trying to do her own Twitch streams, just like basic community thing, just interact with people, and her ISP is completely screwing her over on that. That she just could not keep a connection. Yeah, it sucked, but otherwise we're good over here. Um, uh, what was I going to do? Oh, right. Welcome everybody to Gab Hominem. This is going to be a fun episode for me because not only is it a very creative project that I've seen that really took me back to some of the old days of my own childhood with that really classic like 80s cartoon style. But I also just the other week talked with, basically, I don't know if he's like the lead music guy, but definitely one of the biggest contributors in terms of music to Sir Mayhem. Ash was, yeah, he was really cool to talk to. And I came to figure out in the process of getting him scheduled for it that he lives like 20 minutes up the highway from where I used to live. We've hanged out once at a local show up here in my area. I was gonna hang out with him the other day, but I just couldn't get out of the house and away from other obligations to be able to go with him. But he did show me another show that's gonna be coming up, I think next month, that I'm gonna be making an effort to get to. So hopefully again soon. Yeah. But yes, Sir Mayhem is the I don't know if it's specifically the project we're talking about because we're here talking with the people behind it, which is Magpie v Raven. Is that the full actual name or like the? I kind of like that. I don't think that not a lot of people would probably actually go for that nowadays. But it's a really fun name and I like it. So Magpie v Raven, animator, artist. Is it specifically background artist, or are you just doing any kind of art at all? Like, um, yeah, it's Magpie has done a lot of work, and I actually really enjoy a lot of the work that Magpie does. Um, but there's also Paul. I don't think I ever do you ever share your last name, Paul? Paul Paul Barber. If I'm recalling my own history correctly, surnames usually came from the professions of people that. Ooh. Mm. I- Yeah, I was just listening to there's this true crime podcast that I listen to. It's called The Last Podcast on the Left, and they tend to do a lot of things that aren't just like serial killers and all that. They also talk about like cults and like occult things in history. Like they talked about Rasputin in the past, and quite recently they did a 3 or 4 part series on the Black Plague. And that's why I first heard about barber surgeons. As soon as you mentioned that, I'm like, oh, that goes back. History tends to be very fun for me, at least. Like it tends to bring up a lot of interesting little quirks. Like one of my all-time favorite Disney movies is Hercules. Um, yeah, but you look at it and you realize, hold on, Hercules is a Roman name, but the whole thing is about Greek mythology. Something is wrong here. It's like, yeah, it's like it's one of those things where it's just like it's a little detail that's not really worth getting worked up over, but when you do know about it, it just doesn't leave your head. Oh man. Hmm. James Woods makes him one of the most like, if you'll pardon the pun, animated characters that I've ever seen. Yeah. Oh. So you, if I'm not mistaken, the both of you are from the UK. Uh, yeah. Let's start a little bit with the both of you and learning a little bit more about the both of you. Where are the two of you from, and what kind of influences that the place you two, or whatever places you two were raised in, what kind of influences have those places had on you to where you're at now? Uh, oh, fair enough. Yeah, I'm not gonna expect it like all of the details. It's whatever you feel comfortable sharing. Hmm. Yeah, the closest I've gotten to history as of late has usually been the Assassin's Creed games, which yeah, it's not exactly the most like effective way to learn history, but it's kind of like an interesting look into some bits of history. Like what was it? Odyssey was a look into the ancient Greek days of what the hell was his name? I think it was around the time of Plato because I think he's one of the main characters in it. Um, yeah, yeah, that's one of the interesting things that caught me about it is because I'm playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla right now, which is about I think it was like late I think that was mid to late ninth century because that's when yeah, always it's been very fascinating to run around everywhere and then you see Roman ruins all over the place, like the pantheons and all that, and like what the hell, this is nuts. How far did they get? Really? Hmm. Hmm. I'll have to make it a point to good. Yeah, I've always been wanting to make a visit to the UK at some point, especially before the pandemic hit. But there was my mom had a pen pal from the UK who actually made a visit. I think a little bit before the holidays, before the pandemic, and it was really fun to actually get to talk with people from the UK. Because this pen pal brought her, I think, three kids over, and it was kind of interesting to hear them talk about like where they were. I forget exactly where, but I think it was somewhere around the Nottingham area. I think. Yeah. Yeah, and this is me trying my best to remember, but it sounded like they were more in like one of the little like outskirt towns type of thing. Yeah. Yeah. So I've been hoping to try to make a visit at some point in the near future. Cool, because yeah, especially when it comes to the history part, that's always been a very fascinating part to me. I wouldn't consider myself a history buff, but if there's chances for me to learn, I take the chance. I mean, it's the whole point of this show that I do is because I like to learn from people who are part of like the entertainment realm because it feels pretty easy to forget that that the people that do whatever it is they do that make these TV shows, movies, music, whatever it is, it becomes pretty easy to forget that there's just regular people behind all of that. Like with the whole Sir Mayhem thing, if I recall, the idea just kind of came to you randomly at a park or something like that, Paul. Oh man. That'll actually go into another question that I wanted to ask is how did the two of you actually meet? Yeah, to get to this point. How much he likes a what? Oh god. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah, she introduced me to all the animation side and everything. And I said, "Oh, I'll do a little few doodles. Oh, show me, show me." And I was like, "Oh, you know."
I had to be
Then,
obsessed to get him
but
to
when I did
show
show
me.
my artwork, it was just like I just got bombarded with all these messages. I think my phone nearly blew up, saying, "Why haven't you shown me that?" And
I
that was it,
know.
wasn't it?
You kept telling me it was bad, so I was
Well,
expecting
not
like some.
bad, but we're not like up to your
I mean,
standards,
it
you
was
know.
the way, but like some shitty doodle, like it looks like a 12-year-old did it. And then you show me this thing that looks like professional already. I wanted to hit him over his head.
There you go. It all sort of happened. So I believe it was fate.
There you
Fate brought
go.
us together at Comic Con.
We,
The Penguin, I have to thank, really, definitely.
exactly.
Yeah.
So see, thanks.
Thanks to the
We met
Penguin.
through the penguin, and
Yeah.
we've been best friends ever since. There you go.
Okay, well, I apparently made a goof and I forgot to set audio settings correctly because there was one box I checked that ended up not putting any of the audio through. Um,
Well,
yeah, it's fixed now. So we're gonna do a quick recap of the last, damn it, 20 minutes. Um, so
it's
yeah,
okay. Quick recap: the penguin is hot. I saw him in his penguin costume. He looked hot. I asked for his number.
I was hot, but you know, it was.
and so that was kind of how Magpie and Paul met. Was at a London Comic Con with Paul dressed as the Penguin. Magpie was obsessed with the Penguin, and it just turned into a whole thing because Comic Con was blazing hot that day with
It was.
basically a greenhouse with a glass ceiling at the venue. It I dealt with that once, doing an Assassin's Creed cosplay of my own at a convention over in Sacramento here, and it with all the layers you usually make or that you usually put on to make any kind of semblance of an Assassin's Creed costume, it gets nuts during the summer. Fantastic during the winter though. But otherwise, we got into where they came from. Magpie opted to keep their details personal, which I have no problem with. I completely understand. But Paul, where did you say you were from again?
Well, the county's called Surrey, but I live in Staines, and I've always lived around this area and stuff. So it's near London. It's up next to London. So if you've got the counties around London, you got Surrey. Some of it's quite posh, but we
Ah,
don't. I don't want to insult the people around here, but yeah, it's a lovely area, very
and
historical.
and then if I when I asked where where Mayhem came from, you said he just kind of spawned as an idea in your
Yeah,
head at a
just
theme
saw this
park.
show in the theme park, yeah, and it was all that this villain and these heroes, but it was more concentrated on the villain, and it sparked something off of me because I've always liked the villains in cartoon series and stuff. So GI Joe's to watch, He-Man,
Mm-hmm.
um, Mask, and all those different things, and I always liked the villains. So Skeletor, Cobra Commander, Miles Mayhem from Mask, and things like that. And I was always intrigued about what decisions they made to become the villains they are and why they did what they did. And all my friends like the heroes and everything, and I always like the villains. Um, and it always fascinated me what decisions they made to, go down that villain's path. But yeah, I think villains have more fun, definitely.
Well, the villains are the best. I mean, the
Yeah, every hero needs a good villain behind them, don't they?
Yeah,
well,
because we were
friendships start from villains
Yeah,
because
that's true. That's true.
penguins,
absolutely
so
we were
villains.
Yeah.
we were talking earlier about how Hades is among our favorite villains from Hercules, and then you get into other ones that just like they really go all out. Like the I think one of the greatest villains of all time. Not really my favorite for kind of obvious reasons, but I think one of the greatest villains of all time was Claude Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I knew you were
Oh,
gonna say that. I don't know why. I
yes,
felt it
he
coming.
was very, very dark. It wasn't really over the top, but it was very dark. The way they did him was brilliant because he was even just that look he had,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
dark, and you looked at him and you thought, you know, I won't want to cross him.
I mean, it
He would
also
just
helps that they chose a fantastic actor for his voice. Freaking Tony
but
J. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh man.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. It's like in Emperor's New Groove. Isma. Oh my God, Eartha Kitt was like born to play that part.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, God, she's not with us anymore. But she had that very distinctive voice, and when they must have had her in mind when they created that villain because it was amazing. And she's definitely one of my favorites. I
Yeah,
think
me
her and
too.
Croc had that amazing partnership, didn't they? And no, no, she was, no, I mean, the voice, and she looked creepy, she looked like an insect. The way they did her was amazing. But yeah, she's one of my favourites. She was quite theatrical and over the top. But yeah, that's what I love about these villains. They can do them very. I mean, the first Disney villain was the evil queen from Snow White, and she was very, very dark and very
Mm.
magical. She was scary. She was very scary. But I think she set it all up for the villains now.
I wish we would still do like serious
Oh,
cartoons like this for kids. I feel
yeah,
like we make show for kids now. We try to make like
fairy tales, isn't it? I mean, when I went to Germany, they had a section of the Grimm's fairy tales, which are based on, and they're very dark. The original ones,
yeah.
very, very dark, and of course Disney didn't go right into the darkness of it
Yeah, no.
all. But I think they just did enough just to, because they were quite very scary.
It was the Little Mermaid was like she died at the end of the
That's it. Yeah,
What is it
yeah.
again?
It was Hans Christian Andersen, but
Mhm.
yeah, it was. But yeah, no, it's yeah, all that the Grimm's fairy tales. We went to the castles and stuff around there. And of course, it's all witches and dark tales. I love all that stuff. So yeah, it's all the villains. It's all it's always fascinated me through. But yeah, Isma is one of my favourites as well.
Mhm.
But you like Captain Hook, don't you? Classic Peter
Oh
Pan.
It
God,
was
Captain Hook is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
good taste in villain.
who the hell voiced Captain Hook in that one?
I think.
I'm
Uh,
terrible with names, so like it
That's
would be
the
fine if
so no, that was back in the 50s, 60s, wasn't it, Peter Pan?
so.
I can't think who did the it's that Ursula from the Little Mermaid as well. She's
She was
um,
based on a drag queen, wasn't she?
yeah, she was, yeah. But she's very over the top and theatrical and everything. And I forget the actress name who did her voice, but she had a wonderful voice.
here it
So
is.
yeah, yeah.
This always such a trip to me because I was born in '92. I'm familiar with a lot of actors from like 2000 onward because that's when I really started paying attention, more or less started to kind of pay attention to things like this. But you take me back to like late 1950s when Peter Pan came out, or
Um,
sorry, early 1950s because that was
mm,
53. And I have never heard of any of these names. It was Bobby Driscoll as Peter
oh,
Pan, uh,
yeah,
Catherine Beaumont. I think I've heard of her once as
yes,
Wendy.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then Captain Hook was Hans Conried.
That's it. Yes, yeah. His name. Thing is, I've loved all these classic Hollywood because my nan. Every time I was going with my nan, she was always watching these old black and white films, and it was fascinating. I mean, she loved Betty Davis and Joan Crawford and all that. So every time we used to go around on a Saturday afternoon, go back when I was a kid in the like the 80s, they always used to have like black and white films on in the afternoons, Sunday afternoons, Saturday afternoons. And she was always watching these black and white film with Bette Davis. I mean, I remember the first film I watched with her was with Bette Davis when she was Elizabeth I, and she was like had this like wig on and these big ruffs and everything, and she was like booming, shouting at everyone, and I was just fascinated with it. And watching these old Hollywood actors like Joan Crawford. I think she was might be one of the influences for the evil queen from Snow White.
Really?
'Cause I think so. I'm trying to remember, but she reminded me of Joan Crawford because if you see Joan Crawford act, she's got that quite intense sort of way, especially when she starts shouting. And I don't know if you've seen Mummy Dearest. That's quite a it's not like a horror film, but it's based on Joan Crawford's life. I think Faye Dunaway played in that. But yeah, it was quite intense. And but yeah, I've always liked the old Hollywood, 50s, 60s things. So I've always liked all that. So yeah, the Disney films growing up in the 80s, we used to watch all them ones. And of course 91, 92, they did Aladdin and Mermaid, and it sort of rebooted Disney,
Hmm.
all them ones there. So yeah, that's
Uh,
cool.
that'll actually, yeah. You bring up Hollywood, and I actually have been a little curious as to what the UK equivalent to Hollywood would be.
Oh, well, we've got Pinewood Studios and Shepperton Studios. So Shepperton Studios, that's where they filmed Star Wars. that around there. That's just down the road from here. So yeah, I mean we've got the old classic British films. So I don't know if you know heard about the Carry On films at all. It's this old English through the 60s and 70s, and it was very sort of like very naughty. That what we call naughty postcard. You've seen a couple, haven't you?
Yeah.
So there'd be ladies with like big breasts bobbing around, and it was all very sort of tongue in cheek. It was all like it was what we call postcard humor. We go to the seaside, you get these like naughty postcards. It weren't like porn or anything, but it was just like ladies with big boobs and men pinching their bottoms. And I mean, it's not very PC now, but it was all sort of that dirty joke, that sort of that schoolboy humour. So they're very funny. I mean, they keep showing them on their repeats and everything, and they've just sort of, it's like an English thing. But I grew up watching Carry On films, and we used to have a giggle at the there's one scene in Carry On Camping where they got these girls and they're doing exercises and one's bra flies off and things like that. Yeah, so it's all sort of a naughty, tongue-in-cheek thing. Then there's other films as well. They got a lovely old actress. I mean, she's not with us anymore. She's called Margaret Rutherford. I don't know if you've heard of her.
I think I've heard of her once or twice, but I can't remember where.
She's a wonderful character actress. She was very she played Miss Marple in a few films back in the 50s. And she won an Oscar for, I think, in the VIPs. But she's a wonderful actress, very characteristic. So, and the importance of being earnest, she was like the big Duchess part and all that. Yeah, so yeah, we've got some lovely actors. I mean, Julie Andrews is British, and Mary Poppins and Sound of Music. Yeah, but yeah, we got the Pinewood one. So we got Doctor in Clover. That was a 50s one of these doctors. That wasn't so risque as the Carry On films, but there was So we got some lovely, good British actors. Certain ones in the past and everything. So
Favorite
yeah.
Ted.
Sorry.
Favorite Ted.
Oh, Father, that's a comedy thing called Father Ted. Yeah, a sort of set in Ireland. That's very funny. But yeah, we've always had our particular humour, which is different from anywhere else in the world. So we've got them lots of like classic ones like One Foot in the Grave was Keeping Up Appearances. Have you seen that one? I don't know if I showed you that one. It's about a very snooty lady who lives in this house, and she thinks she's better. And her surname's Bucket, but she pronounced it Bouquet. Very snobbery. And she's a wonderful actress, Patricia Routledge. She's a dame now, and she played the part brilliantly. So yeah, we've got some wonderful, films and stuff in the past as well as Hollywood as well. I mean, in its and I think in every genre, you've got the Bollywood and everything as well. There's good actors in each of them. So yeah, but yeah, I was very influenced in the films growing up and everything. My family loved other Hollywood films and little British films as well. So that was a good thing.
And so that sounds like those studios are kind of like, what did you say? It was right outside of London, or in the same county as London, or is that the next county over?
It's very near London. I mean, Pinewood, I think it's about a half hour away. Shepperton Studios is literally like 10 minutes away down the road. So a big studio. So the Star Wars was filmed there. Most of the Hollywood actors. We've got the James Bond films. I think they were filmed in Pinewood, a lot of them. The old classic James Bond, Sean Connery, Roger Moore ones and all that sort of thing. So yeah, of course, you've got all the Bond films as well. And it's quite lucky really because of our film history. It's good, but then the Hollywood, that Hollywood glamour they had back in the 50s and 60s as well. All these stunning actresses and great actresses as well. And like Humphrey Bogart, I love Humphrey Bogart. I can watch him. It's just that effortless acting and stuff. Yeah. So my family, we've always loved films and watching films and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good to have a family where you can sit and watch a film together and enjoy it for what it is, and
Right.
I was lucky growing up.
So, because I went to LA, to Los Angeles about a month and a half ago now. I can't remember already, but it was interesting going around there and taking a look at Hollywood, and it was it felt more touristy trap to me than anything else really entertainment
Yeah.
related. But then while I'm down there for that week, I get a chance to I got a chance to meet with Kennedy Phillips and Fable Siegel.
Oh, wow.
And, we just kind of went and, had dinner together at some Italian restaurant in Burbank. And it was that night that I had learned that Burbank was apparently like the animation focus part of town, which was interesting to me. And I wasn't really surprised by it, but it was something for me to learn about that. Does the UK have an equivalent to where it's like an animation focus in that regard?
I don't know. Not really. Not round here. I'm just trying to think. But see, a lot of cartoon. There was a few British cartoon. I mean, not really. I can't think of you
I mean,
in
I do
the UK.
everything online too, so I never
Yeah,
thought to be
yeah.
somewhere like this.
No, I'm just trying. I mean, of course, there's Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, but
You know, that's sort of that film. Say, of course, Shaun the Sheep they've done since then, but that's only really, but not really. No.
So it sounds like a lot of those like animation studios and groups are just kind of scattered about the country.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, probably, but it's not like as famous as like in America, sort of really.
Right.
I can't think. It's like maybe you can think of ones, but here there's not really. I think of anyone that springs to mind.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the entirety of the UK is, I think, not. Crap, I don't even remember if it's even as large as like the whole of California alone. Um,
yeah,
Quite small over here.
yeah, it's because I was doing a little bit of research a while back into Japan, and the entire landmass of Japan is about the same size as the state of California, with four times
God.
as many people, which is
Yeah.
nuts. But then I look at places like the UK, where it also has a massive amount of influence in the world, but it's a bit smaller, which is
Yeah.
mind blowing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, as I say, you get crowded parts, you've got London and stuff, but then you can go out into the country and there's this beautiful scenery and stuff. It's like I went to Wales a couple of months ago and went North Wales, and it's beautiful scenery, mountains and everything. And where we stayed, just everywhere surrounded was just mountains. You didn't see any houses or anything like that. So some lovely wide open spaces, but everyone sort of tends to live in the big cities and stuff. So. You got like Birmingham, London, obviously, and then you go up north, and then of course you go up to Scotland, and they got some. I think a friend of ours went up to Scotland, and the pictures were like I've never been up there, Scotland before, but the scenery looked absolutely beautiful up there. It's like these big mountains, and there's like something out of a Lord of the Rings. It's beautiful.
I should go back to Wales in like better conditions because the only time I
Oh,
went
you
to
went. It would pour down with rain,
it
didn't it?
was at Comic-Con and it was like raining, but the con didn't have anything to put like people like to where people could like be dry.
It's sort of based like a school. So there were buildings where you go to Comic Con, there's massive halls so you could like linger around, look at everything. But this was like they had halls up there, and you had to wait outside to go in, and because there were so many people there. Of course, it just poured down with rain the entire time. It was just
Like I was miserable.
We just wanted to, it's all right when you were inside looking at the stuff, but when you have to go outside to go into another theatre to go and queue, it's like the tent with all the stalls in, and then you had to queue up to get into there. Then you had your photograph when you had your photograph with your celebrities and stuff, you had to queue up to go there. And then you had to go in the other bit to go get the autographs and to queue up to get in there. And it was just like, end of the day, we were just like, I want to go.
It was really overcrowded too.
It was very
They-
overcrowded,
Yeah.
yes.
Should have, so they couldn't fit everyone in one building. Like into
If it was a
buildings.
nice sunny day, it would have been lovely. But of course, British weather, we're renowned for our
I know,
weather.
because it was like sort of like in a remote area. I don't think we had like. Did we have Ubers? Because I remember we got.
No, we couldn't get an Uber, yeah, because I mean, living near London here, you could get an Uber Eats, everything is there on your doorstep. You can order anything. But as you go out into the country, it's less and less. Yeah, common. So Wales, we were a bit remote there, so we sort of wanted to get an Uber to our place, and it was from our hotel. I mean, it was only around the corner, but because it was raining, we thought we can't be bothered to walk. And we were trying to order an Uber, nothing was coming up. And this lovely lady we were talking to said, "Oh, I've got a taxi. Do you wanna share my taxi?" And we're like, "Are you sure?" There's four of us. There was three of us, And she said, yeah, there's plenty of them. Come in. And that was really nice of her, wasn't
I
it?
know.
She didn't have to do that, and she did, yeah. So
But like because my only experience of Wales was this, like I kind of
it's put
hate
you
it.
off a bit, hasn't it? Yeah.
Like
But
I'm
Wales is
scared to
beautiful.
go
It's a
back. It was
beautiful.
so miserable. A good experience with it.
Wales is a beautiful place. It's lovely.
I'll have to check it out at some point if I get the chance.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. Yeah, we're going back to Wales Comic Con in November.
I'm kind of dreading it just for that
No,
reason.
oh, no, I've researched the place and it's all inside, so we should be all right. Yeah, but no, Wales is a beautiful, it's a beautiful country. So
What kind of have there been any particular influences from these different regions of the UK that have like had their influence on Sir Mayhem?
not really, no. I think more of I think more America really is more influence on Mayhem more than anything. That big supervillain side wanted to become the best supervillain and have all the I like the old 1950s movies, the old sci-fi ones. I love all that. So a lot of that's influenced in Mayhem and that 80s vibe where I grew up as well. I love the 80s. So, but no, not really anything round here, not at all.
All right.
No, I think I think more of America's had more of influence on Mayhem than the UK.
It kind of seems like a lot of American media and like British media always tends to like intermix or kind of like have an influence on each other. Like I know a lot of it. I know there's like the old joke where a lot of there's a lot more Americans that care about the royal family than British people do. Um,
That's quite a controversial subject around here because there's always been people who don't. I mean, I'm a royalist myself, so I love the royal family. I always have like the monarchy,
mm,
interested in the history and everything. But I mean, it's very divided over here. Some people love them, some people hate them. Or they hate's a bit of a strong word. Don't see the point of them because they cost money, the taxpayer and everything, but they do bring a lot of tourism over. And I think, yeah, I think they're from abroad, the people, because I remember the first time I went to America back in '97, and well, we went to we went to New York, then we went to California, and and I remember walking around the mall on the first day, and everyone stopped us in these malls. I say, "Oh my God, I love your accent," and the first thing they would talk to us about was the royal family. Of course, '97, that's when Princess Diana died, and
oh yeah.
a lot of people were saying, "Oh, so sorry to hear about Diana and all this lot." And I was quite like, "Oh wow, people really love the royal family over here, especially Diana. I mean, she had a quite a connection with the people over here
Mm.
anyway. She was wonderful, the charity she did and everything. So I think I don't think she was. I'm trying to look for the word. I think she was like centered around the UK. I think her attitude and her influence is spread all around the world. She was. They used to call her the people's princess, right? And I think that's exactly right. I mean,
Mm.
she just she bonded with people all around the world. It wasn't just the UK. And going and experience that in America was like, wonderful. So it was like, oh wow, people, have heard of her and love her, and the royal family as well. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, over here, yeah, people, they've got their opinions about the royal family. But me, I'm glad it's like an old institution. They've kept going and everything. And our Queen, bless her, 90 odd now, she's doing really well. And it's sad about Prince Philip, who died
Mm.
a couple of months ago. That was really sad.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of controversy at the moment. I mean, it's like Harry and Meghan at the moment. It's a lot of people see it as old fashioned, but I quite like that old sort of old fashioned traditions and that sort of thing. And I know that they're trying to something new, and hopefully it'll work out for them and the royal family. It's just the media has to get involved and make it
Yeah.
into a big circus thing. But it was nice to see when the funeral of Prince Philip, which happened at Windsor, which is literally like about half hour away. Because I think I took you to Windsor Castle, didn't
Yeah.
I? Yeah, and it was nice to see old Harry and William walking together as well, and talking. It was nice to see them back together as well. So yeah,
It was interesting to see that that Meghan and Harry both wanted to just be regular people again, or again.
well, I can understand that.
Yeah.
I can understand that because when you're in the royal family, you're in the public eye all the time. Everything you do is filmed, photographed, and I can totally understand wanting to be their own people and wanting to do their own thing. And it's just a shame it's the way it's happened now, really,
Yeah.
because they're a young couple. They're starting a family and everything, and I wish them all the luck in the world. They seem like really nice people, and let's hopefully have a bit of time and space. They can move on from this, and
Mm.
you know, yeah, go, just
Well,
become. I mean, yeah,
because Megan, if I recall, she started as an actress, especially in the States. Um,
that's right. Yes, I mean, I'm not. I mean, she was in Suits, wasn't she? I never watched that
I
myself,
don't remember
but I
actually.
mean, it's nice to. I mean, when William married Kate. I mean, she was what we would call a commoner, and that was lovely to see because it was some new blood in the royal family and stuff. There weren't. I think it touched people, especially in the UK, is that she wasn't a princess or anything like that. She was just literally a normal lady, a girl,
Mm.
and of course fell in love with the prince. And it was lovely to see the wedding and everything. And now I think she's amazing. I think she's a really good role model. She's accepted into the life and everything. It's worked for them and everything. They've got their kids. And I think Megan's a totally. I think when Harry married Megan, I think they expected her to be the same. Everyone's different, aren't they? She's. I mean, she was an actress from another country. They fell in love, and of course, everyone, as I say, everyone's different. And it was nice to. It's nice to see different people and getting together. And it's just a shame that it's all happened the way it is. But I think a lot of it's the media blowing things up because
Yeah.
they want to sell papers and get things done. So,
Mm.
but yeah, it's nice to see them, starting new families and stuff. And of course, they want to try something different. They want to try something new. I
Mm.
mean, we're moving on now, aren't we? It's moving on for different things. We're moving forward. People want to try different things. We're in new times. So yeah, I can understand why they want to do that, and it's just a shame that it couldn't. I think they hit. I think they're very brave to do what they wanted to do because they come up and said we want to do this, we want to change, and it's just a shame there wasn't a bit give and take in each other's situations. But hopefully, things have calmed down a bit now, and they can move on from this.
Yeah, hopefully,
Some
because it's always been one of the big things for me is, at least in the entertainment realm, it's kind of difficult to really make the exact same connection when it comes to political figures like the royal family.
mm,
Regardless of what kind of political influence they actually have, it's politics is a little bit of a separate world from entertainment, which is
Yeah.
part of where it's getting into now. Is with Harry and Meghan, she's an entertainer, and
mm,
they're just kind of going into just being regular people, which has always been one of the big things for me. Is that we look at a lot of these entertainers, people like from the UK, as far as I can remember, people like I think Hugh Grant was a UK
oh
celebrity, right?
yeah,
Yeah, people
yeah,
like Hugh
that's right.
Grant.
Yeah, he's a very good actor. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
charming dude. I like him.
Um,
Uh, I'm trying to remember. I think what the hell was the? I already forget his name. His name is escaping me. The one of the latest. Actually, I think it was the two latest James Bond actors. Um,
oh, Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. Thank you. And I think
Yeah,
did Idris Elba
he
get
lived.
anywhere with that?
Idris Elba. Yeah, he's been in what James Bond. I'm not sure. There's a lot of speculation at the moment about who's to be the next James Bond and stuff.
Yeah, I heard he was like on
Idris
the.
Elba.
I heard he was like the front of the queue to be the next James Bond, but haven't heard anything since.
Surprised me. I think he's very good in the role.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been in a few like, British things. He was in I think called Rebus, which is like a detective thing.
Hmm.
Of course, he was in Suicide Squad, who I thought he was brilliant in. I've not seen him in very much stuff really, but did like him in Suicide Squad. I think he's done a good job in that.
Yeah, but
So
we look at a lot of these actors. Those are just some of the UK, just some of the UK names. Over here, we got more than I can even keep track of.
mm,
But one thing that I realize when I really look at them and they, kind of see what their day to day lives are, they're just normal people. You know,
oh yeah, I
yeah,
mean, it's like Daniel Craig. I mean, I think he lives somewhere near Richmond, which is like a outer borough of London. And a friend of mine was driving along. I just saw him coming out of shop.
hmm,
And he pulled over and went up to him and said, "Oh, I'm a really big fan. Could I have an autograph?" He said, "Yeah, sure." Signed. And just picked up his bag of shopping, and off he went.
Imagine you just go to groceries and the person
Yeah.
behind you is there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Tom Holland as well. This where he's you know, just hanging out with his friends at a bar and that sort of thing.
I
So
easily
that's what I
forget.
think. I think. Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. It's just I easily forget Tom Holland is British.
Yes.
It's very easy
Yeah.
to forget that with him, in
Yeah.
particular.
Yeah, but no, it's nice to see celebs just doing what they. Because I mean, even though they are in the public eye and everything, what they do and everything, but everyone deserves their private time and do what they want to do. So it's nice to see, you know, people are on the limelight just hanging out and doing normal things like the rest of us do. You know, so I
Because
think
like
everyone deserves them.
when I was hanging out with Ash, I think it was last weekend. I think I can't remember. We just kind of talked BS for a bit and listened to the musical performances that were going on that day. And it was just I had seen him doing music for Sir Mayhem, participating in that little like fan collaboration thing they did a while back, and it was fun to be a part of that, and it was also fun to just talk with him, learn a little bit more about him and where he goes and all that. But it just reminded me, it's like he's just like me. He's just a normal guy doing his own thing, and
Yeah,
he happens to be a part of something that a lot of people really enjoy.
absolutely.
Do you
He did a
guys?
private first, didn't he? He's so talented, and I mean, Magpie introduced me to him and everything, and ever since I've listened to his music, I've got it on my phone all the time and everything. He's absolutely brilliant. But it's like when he first did the pilot for Mayhem, I had no idea what it would open up and change my life the way it has. It has. It was just seeing that was amazing, and seeing the fans who love it as much as I do, and of course the team as well, like Elsie and Wiley, and meeting these wonderful, talented people. And it was just like, oh my goodness! It's like when we went to Brighton last year, we met up with Elsie and just chatting to her and everything. I
So
mean,
sweet.
Wiley, she's lovely. Yeah, she's
Mhm.
and so oh my goodness, these people are just so. It's like wow, I'm in awe of them all because they're just it's like when we were doing auditions for voice actors and stuff, and people put their voices. Hey, listen to one, you're like, wow, I want to take them all
I
on.
know.
They're just,
Any
we're like, which ones? But then the last one we did for Diva, we found. I mean, as soon as we heard her, we thought, that's Diva. We
yeah.
looked at each other, and we didn't have to say anything. Well, that's Diva. But then another a lady done, it, and we looked at each other and thought, Lady Death. Didn't we? We didn't have to talk. We just looked at each other. Yeah, Lady Death. And there's other ones we listened to. Oh, we can have that for this character. We can have this one for this character. So, and it's just like, I mean, it's like Wiley as well. The songs he's done with the characters, especially the Ricky and Diva sing off, is just like,
That's pretty good.
wow.
That's got
And
to be such a nightmare to deal with, to listen to all of these amazingly talented, voice
it's,
actors submitting something to help out with it, and you go,
yeah.
I can't use them all.
I'm saying to her, can we take them all? And she's like, no, we've only got a budget for so much. I'm like, oh God, it's so hard, and it's so hard picking because it's like, well, I'm totally blown away.
You don't want to say no to someone and they think they're not good because
That's
you are.
yeah. You think you are good enough, but you just weren't right for our character here. But it's just like it's so hard, isn't
I
it?
know.
It's hard, But I love listening to all the the auditions, see what people can do and the different voices they do. It's
What were you
amazing.
expecting when you saw the pilot? Because you said you weren't expecting to.
I didn't, when I saw I just thought that'd be it. That's it. He's singing and dancing, he's doing his thing on there, and that's it. But I know we're doing comics and mini animations, and we the Zombie Oblivion we're doing at the moment, which we'll get in time for Halloween. And I didn't realize it was more the fans really. We've got such a wonderful fan base. They all loved the character as much as me, and they tune in to coming to our streams, and they buy the merchandise. I'm like, wow! I'm still like overwhelmed now, thinking,
Aw.
wow, it's I appreciate it so much. It's wonderful. It's trying to find the words. I mean, there's not enough words for me to say how much it all means to me. It's fantastic. It's a good time.
I get that
Yeah.
feeling. It's when you feel so like overwhelmed with that, gratitude of
Yeah,
seeing how much went into, this simple idea that was in your head, and suddenly it's like actually alive before you. It gets really
absolutely.
difficult to find the words appropriate. You almost feel like it's impossible to find, anything
And
that
I
comes
just keep
close.
saying the same things on like it's just said awesome and brilliant. I'm thinking, oh God, people, I just can't think of any words to do it justice. It's I mean, and it's so many people we've met, including yourself. It's wonderful. These people who you talk to and you meet and and I think everyone I've met, I've been influenced by positively. It's been absolutely amazing. It's an
Hmm.
amazing time. Good ego boost as well. It's nice to know you've created something and people love it as well.
I,
So,
I don't think there's anything wrong with a little bit of ego. It's when you let the ego
you
like
know,
overwhelm you and become your
oh yeah,
identity. That's when it becomes bad.
no, that's it. No, we've had
Make sure to boost your ego a lot.
that's yeah, we all need our ego boosting a bit.
Have you because you said you used to draw him out a little bit before he became, alive before you. Did you ever feel you had any doubts as to your own like art style or quality or whatever? Because I think that's something that tends to be common with artists, in that they don't think their own art looks good. Did
That's it. Oh no, I used to, yeah, because when I was at school, I was always drawing, and I remember they used to put my artwork up on the wall and things like that. And then when I went to college, I did art and design there, and of course I did like my cartoon style. And I remember going to do my college interview, and I had a mixture. I put some of my cartoon bits in, I put some of the bits and bobs in. And I walked in there, and there was these tutors standing there, and there were two piles of work. We got in my portfolio. There was all the cartoon stuff,
Mhm.
and there was all my other bits I did for fine art, drawing, still life and stuff. And she said, "I don't want to concentrate on this. Well, my cartoons, I don't want you to do this anymore. You concentrate on this." And it was just like, it's the only thing I like. So all through it was a mix of mix. I did love my college years. I'd learned a lot, and I did some what I thought was pretty good stuff. But I always wanted to revert. I wanted to do my cartooning, and they just would not let me. They was like, "No, you're not doing that."
Mm.
And I did it for one project when I did graphics, and oh my goodness, anyone thought I drawn a big SWAT sticker on a poster or something. So we're like, yeah, they're very anti. But then when I first started doing my degree, I did the first part of the degree, and there's this new tutor came in, and she said, "Why aren't you doing more of this artwork?" And I said, "Because I've been told not to." And she said, "Don't listen to anyone else. If you want to do that, you do it."
I
And
really should have said that. I don't get why you're like our teacher and they tell you to not.
I don't know. I was only 16 back then, so it was a bit, when you're going to a college and a new thing, and you get told you don't do that, you do this. It was just like, oh my goodness, a bit of shock to the system. But then I'm glad I tried other things as well. We did photography, sculpture, fine art, textiles, a bit of fashion thing as well, and I really sort of gravitated towards sort of costume design as well, which I quite enjoyed doing. But yeah, I mean, then of course when I finished off my degree, which I done, and then I just sort of got a part-time job in a supermarket, and then it was quite competitive, so that put me off quite a lot. And looking back on it now, I wish I sort of persevered with it a bit more.
Hey
But then I
man,
worked full time in a supermarket, and yeah,
I imagine
so
seeing it actually come alive before you really helped out with that. Not so much the ego, but
oh,
I'm guessing more the confidence.
absolutely. I was a bit nervous because she didn't tell me what she was doing. So when you've had a character in your mind for so long, and there's a certain way you would talk and move and do things and stuff. And when she told me watch this, and then well, she sent me a few little snippets, but I didn't know it was Mayhem because I think you said Queen Bee was the
Yeah.
first thing you sent me. Then I think the day before you told me and you sent me that, and I was like, wow. And then I was thinking, oh God, what if it's not what I want him to be?
That's what I was scared of.
How am I going to say it's good, but I wouldn't have him doing this or that? Because the bit she sent me was when he goes do, and I thought brilliant. He would do that and everything. But I was thinking, what if he doesn't talk right? What if he doesn't say this? I was like, so I was watching it, and but as I was watching it, it all just seemed to lift because I was just thinking when I got to the end bit and the credits, I think, how did she know? So I didn't tell her very much about him. I mean, I drew him to see what he'd look like, and I said what he would, he'd always be bad-tempered and shouting and blowing things up. But as I said before, it was like she just sort of opened my brain up, took him out, and put him on the screen.
Oh, because you told me that it was based on you, and I know.
Yeah, that's it.
So
Yeah,
that helped.
but when I watched it, and even the other characters as well, I was just like, oh my god, I genuinely love it. So when she says, "What do you think?" I was like, "Oh my god, it's brilliant." I was thinking, I was afterwards thinking, "Oh my, I seem so surprised I liked it." I just don't think,
Like,
yeah. But it's more relief that she got him, she got the character and the characters around him and everything, and the relationship with Mayhem and V was absolutely brilliant, and it was just like, wow, she's got it. And ever since then, not looked back. It's been, it's like you're singing from the same hymn sheet. She hasn't got one idea about him. I've got another. It's just, and when we come up with storylines, we usually end up thinking the same thing anyway, don't we? So we were working out our comics and stuff. I'll say so much. She's like, "Oh my god, I was just about to draw that."
idea of like, oh, let's kill that character, and he's like, no, why would
No,
you do?
she wants to kill everyone. She would have everyone blown up and everything.
There's
Don't
always
eat.
I remember when my mum saw it once she saw the pilot. The girl who gets her head cut off. Mum was like, "Oh, I really like that character." She's like, "Are you going to bring her back?" I said, "No, she's dead. Head cut off. She's gone." And she's like, "Oh, I liked her."
He needs to like
Reel her in a bit because she's like, "We're working something out." She goes, "Oh, then we kill him." And it's like, "No."
In some scene where there's a zombie that eats Queen Bee's dog, and he always
No. My goodness.
It's like we can't fall into the studio route of Game of Thrones. We can't just bring people back because that kind of ruins it.
see. I have another comic where it's really dark and like people like die all the time and stuff, and there's like murders and like horrible things in it, and then like I need to read like, oh no, I need to make it like still goofy and funny.
I mean, we just want to be like silly and fun and just sort of. But yeah, no, it's good. We know she got the character, and I was really, really pleased. And yeah, I'm just very, very, very lucky. As that I found someone who can. We worked together so well, and I believe it was fate that brought. I'm a big believer in fate, and I believe fate brought us together to create things like this. And yeah, so,
Oh,
thank
Absolutely
you.
fair, honestly.
You.
Excuse me, gasp. Um, so there's been a lot of it's been a lot of fun watching Mayhem grow and develop into its own thing. Because now, if I'm not mistaken, because my memory is complete garbage, Mayhem is going into its own webcomic now, right?
We do comics, yeah. So.
We do comics as well. You can see them online, and we've done the origin one was first, then we've done the villains were telling their story, and we've got physical comics as well, which people have bought and everything. So when we're planning another one, we've got another one coming up.
Yeah.
We're doing
About Diva.
about Diva. She's been very popular. I mean, I created her when we did a podcast, didn't I? And it was just like, because Ricky is a very popular character, people love him, and I think Ricky needs a bit of a rival. He needs his own little thing. So I thought, who'd be Ricky's rival? And I just thought this disco diva, and I just drew her there and then, and it was just like, boom, then she was born. It's actually climbed out of my head and went on the paper. And then we put her on our Twitter page and everything, and Discord, and people loved her straight away, and people were doing fan art of her and everything. And we thought, we better put her in a comic. We better put her in our storyline. That's when we did the voice things for her, and we wanted someone with a big voice and everything. And we found her, and she's done a fantastic job. And so we people want to know a bit more about her, so we're doing a comic about Diva's origins, but of course with Mayhem in it, of course, and B. So, but yeah, we're working on that at the moment. We hope to be that out in the next couple of months. Get that out. But yeah, we're working on the Zombie Oblivion at the moment. That's going to be lots of fun. I love that. The work. Magpie's got people to work on it, and wow, I'm just blown away by all their different, even the little sketch animations are like wow. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm
We'll be
absolutely
really
looking forward to it.
Halloween. Yeah, it's going to be really good.
Yeah. So we got a couple of comments and even a question from people who are listening. The first up is from Asale Polanco. Asale Polanco? Man, I might be butchering that pronunciation. But they say, I know them really well. As part of a request, Magpie drew my OC, and I seriously look like I came out of Kina.
Oh,
She's a nice person, to be honest. Or she's a nice person, to be honest.
yeah.
Yeah, I believe
Sweet.
it. Every time I've talked with Magpie, it's always been a very pleasant, like quick little discussion about something, sharing something with Magpie, and Magpie has just been an absolute sweetheart to talk with.
Yeah, she is. She is. She's one of the most genuine people I've ever met in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Everything she's, yeah, it is. Everything you say is from the heart, and it's, yeah. She's a very positive person to have in your life. Definitely, she's helped me a lot come out of myself. Yeah, no, definitely. You're very encouraging, and I've seen you with other, not just me and other people as well. When she's like in work, what I call work mode, and she's getting things done, she's amazing. It's like I tell my friends, my mum, she's like really focused, and she's giving feedback and everything, and she's so encouraging as well. And it's no wonder we get all this fantastic work because she's a good boss in a way. So,
Who's the boss?
well, but when you're doing things like that, it's very inspiring. In fact, I think that's the word I'm looking for.
Oh,
Seeing
thank
you
you.
work like that. So yeah, no, it's good. Especially all the work you've done on Kina. It's just like when she first showed me that on the cabinet, it was just like wow, it was amazing. Especially the little, and what I like, attention to detail is absolutely amazing. She put little Easter eggs in there.
Yeah.
I spotted that Easter egg, and I'm like, I've really got to concentrate because I'm thinking. But no, it's just little details and stuff like that. It's really good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that goes into the next comment that we got from. Oh man, here's a fun one. Nathan Raglan, Classy Nadery Productions.
Oh yes, yeah, Nathan.
Says there's some mental link between you two. I swear.
Yeah.
I don't think I mentioned it on the podcast. You know that dream I had where, okay, it's a really weird thing that happened where I was having like a nightmare, and it was, when you wake up in your dream, but you're still in the dream,
Oh.
and pretty much it was like the same one, and it kept happening in loop. And I remember, like, at one point, I in my dream, I grabbed my phone and I texted him, "Help me!" And literally right at that moment, he texted me in real life, and it woke me up, and so I stopped having the nightmare loop.
Yeah,
That
was
was-
weird. That was about 2 in the morning or something like that. Because usually when I wake up in the night, I just have a look at my phone and see what messages and stuff. And I just thought, I'll just see how she's doing because I've not heard of her, in the last couple of hours or so. Perhaps she's fallen asleep. And then she was like, wow,
That was really freaky.
what's
Yeah.
freaky.
I know.
Like, it's when we work, but when we're working on our comic, we literally down the same path. I don't think we've ever disagreed on anything. We've always, when it goes down, I said, oh, perhaps we should do this. And she's like, oh God, I thought of that, and it's another vice versa.
Oh, that's. I don't know how to comprehend that.
No,
Yeah,
it's
freaky.
weird. It's really weird because sometimes I think, oh, I won't suggest that. It sounds a bit weird, but I thought I'll suggest it anyway. She'll always say no. And then she'll go, I'm thinking exactly the same thing. And it's like, oh my God. And then when we're doing it and drawing it, I'll say, oh, if we do this bit like that, and of course she's already drawing it. And it's just like, and it's really freaky, but it's good at the same time because, it's good to have difference of opinions and have different ways of doing it, but it's also nice when you're thinking of something and someone else is thinking the same thing as well. So
I know,
yeah.
it's weird. We text each other and we send the same text at the same time.
Well, it's
so
like,
it's
like
freaky.
going somewhere. Oh, should we go here? And she'll like, I was about to suggest that.
I know.
You know?
Very strange.
That is strange. It's I don't see that happening very often, but this is
No.
definitely one of the most fun ones that I've heard.
It's almost paranormal. I don't.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So we're gonna get into we got a couple of questions now. This one's from a sale earlier. It says, "Say, I have a question. Is the pilot made as part of a birthday present for Paul, or I would assume as a
Yes.
past tense was?"
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because she said she was work. I mean, I think a couple of months before you were working on something, but I thought it was something for her. And I was like, "Oh, how's it going? Show me." She was like, "No, I'm going to show you at the end." And I was like, "Oh, fair enough." And when she sent me the little snippet of Queen Bee, and I was like, "Wow, I love this character. She's brilliant." And she was like, "Oh, thank you." And all this, like, and then, of course, then she told me the day before it was for me, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And it was the most amazing present ever. It really was. It was just like,
It was so hard to keep it like secret for that long because it took about 5 months to make in total. And I mean, 5 months of like doing it every day. So like it was so hard to be able to say, oh, I'm doing something and not be able to say what I'm doing. Because usually I send him everything I'm doing. So it was kind of weird. I kept thinking he was gonna guess. I don't know how you didn't guess it.
I
To
didn't
be
guess
honest.
at all. I had no idea. No idea at all.
But that's crazy because I don't know how you did it, but
I
There
get
you
how
go.
that is because Kennedy from Hasbin, one of the sound designers, I remember being a part of a Discord call on Ashley's Patreon, if I'm remembering this correctly, and he stuck around after Ashley and Michael left, and Kennedy was just to the rest of us that was still in the call, and he was just like, "Okay, guys, I'm planning something for Ashley as like a anniversary, or I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like an appreciation thing." And what he decided to do was he decided to go onto Cameo and get all these different like actors and voice actors to do an Oh Ashley thing as a montage for her. And at the end of it, he did this whole like, you know, great appreciation thing for Ashley, which was very heartfelt, and I really liked hearing it. But we had those of us that were involved, we had to keep it a secret because he did not want to finding out until the day it was released. And
yeah.
when you have like a dozen different people all knowing about it and contributing to it, it gets really tough to not talk about it.
That too, I kept being scared someone was gonna slip up or something. Because I wanted to like also start building up the fan base at the same time. So he didn't have Twitter at that time, and so I was like, I'm gonna just put it on Twitter because he's not going on Twitter, all right? So then I was like, but then people who are on Twitter might like talk to him somehow on Discord or something and like tell him something. So I would try to like not mention Sir Mayhem himself on the Twitter, and that's why I used to call it.
I was a bit confused because people started doing fan art after the pilot came out, and I'm thinking, there's no fan art of Sir Mayhem.
That was why.
Don't they like him? I was a bit like, don't they like him or anything? Oh my goodness, like his other characters, but they don't like me. And I was like, now I understand why. Yeah, of course.
No, it's the opposite. There's more of
But seeing those about Queen Bee and Ricky, and I was like, is that of Sir Mayhem?
Because Queen Bee was the one I pushed the most.
Yeah.
Because like
she's a good character.
I know.
Of course, brought to life by the wonderful Elsie. So yeah.
Elsie is quite a talent to not only voice act, but
she is wonderful. She's she's fantastic, and she's a lovely person as well.
Yeah, she's a great friend. When I'm like working hard and stuff, she's checking up on me.
Yeah,
I definitely believe the working hard part because I remember she talked about once for Hasbin, she tried to get to that really high pitch for singing as Charlie in that batshit insane song, and then it's just like. I can believe that it's really difficult to keep your high pitch at that point, especially with that almost Valley Girl type of like acting going on there. And she pushed herself to accomplish it.
Yeah. But she does. I mean, I find that she does. She goes all out. I mean, when she does the song for Queen Bee, Pain in My Beehive. I mean, all these voice actors really do have my utmost respect because to keep your voice in that voice going in that character, it's amazing, and especially they don't waver, you don't. I mean, it's just keeping that continuity. I can't say it. Continuity. But yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely brilliant. And when she sung that song all the way through it as well, it's brilliant. And it's in character as well. I mean, people just think they're voices, but they're actors as well. Because to do a voice, to portray that voice, because you can't see them, you just hear them, and it's a hell of a talent. It really is.
I'm still working on the video dub for the second issue of my Kina comics as well. And there's that one actor who plays my pirate character at the end. I sent you that song he made. Isn't that
My goodness, yeah.
That was incredible, seriously.
No, absolutely. But it's the other voice actors we met, like Tara Strong, and of course she showed Tara our pilot, and she sent us a video on it, and it's like, oh my gosh, someone like Tara Strong is like saying she loves our project, and uh, Kevin Conroy as well. It's like, oh my God, Batman himself is like talking to me, and he's like, I'm just stage struck.
I
And,
keep sending the Mayhem pilots to
oh,
both people
but we
because I know
get some wonderful, encouragement and everything from it. And Nolan North, we met him, didn't we? Of course, does the Penguin voice in
Nolan North.
Nolan North, yeah, he does the Penguin voice in Arkham Asylum, and he's done lots of other things as well. He lovely man. We met him at Comic Con, and we sent him the video, and he sent us a lovely video back to say, really, he was quoting lines from it and everything, and it was wonder. And these like legends. You're like, oh my God,
telling you're talented.
Oh well,
Stop that now.
So,
but no,
it's
brilliant.
That actually goes into the next question I wanted to ask that we've got from Nathan again. It's amazing how these responses always play out right into the next question, because Nathan asks, seeing some interactions on Twitter as of late, what would be the dream celebrity casting of Mayhem?
We already have the dream casting. I don't want to replace anybody.
No, I mean, everyone is absolutely brilliant. I mean, I would like to do a character and have Mark Hamill do a voice.
Yeah, but we would create like a new one.
We'd create a new one for him. I would have him replace it. But no, everyone we've got is just absolutely ideal for the role.
You're really like against recasting, because for me, a character like are associated with their voice. So then when you recast them, it's like a part of a character dies.
That's it. Yeah, I agree, because these actors, they've taken on the character, that they are that character. I mean, Wiley, when he does Ricky, he's Ricky. When Elsie does Queen Bee, she's Queen Bee. And it's they're part of that character. They're part of the. I know, and I couldn't imagine anyone else doing their.
I know, because I don't want like.
But
famous actors just because
I'd love to have Tara Strong voice, but I would create new characters for them to be. I would never ever replace them.
Yeah, I prefer having like actors who are like not as big, but they.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There's lots of talent out. There's lots of talent out there, and I'd like to give these other a lot of people a chance. It's like Nathan. He'd done the voice of the chorus, and I think that was one of his first roles he done. And because he said, I think when we did a podcast with him, he goes, he wants to start out, and we looked at each other then and thought, chorus, which is Captain Divine's his sidekick, and he's done a fantastic job on that. We told him what the his sulky teenager, and he did it, didn't he? He's done really well, and he thanked Nathan for his for his work as well. But yeah, I mean, we believe giving these people a chance to shine, and they have shone. They absolutely have. But then you get these famous, like you got Mark Hamill and you got Tara and all that, and you thought, I'd love to work with these people as well, but I would create new characters for them and stuff. So that'd be cool.
It's amazing that you guys actually want to try to give chances to newer talent, because that's you see a lot of people saying we got to find the right fit, and there was one point where I had talked with Jun Yoon, a Korean American voice actor. And he had mentioned that one of the big things about the whole Twitter follower thing is it's basically a means of marketing, which kind of makes sense. People always want more eyes on their projects, but at the same time, it's giving those chances for those people to grow is it's always an amazing thing to actually see it happen.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm blanking right now and finding a specific. Example of this. The only one that I can really reasonably think of is Michael Kovac, who he was relatively well known before Has-Been, but then Has-Been blows up, and I haven't even looked at his follower count anymore, but he's definitely quite well known and growing. But at the same time, I love that
he does.
That same opportunity he had, though, is one that is just as possible for other talent that's out there.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they put their heart and soul into it as well. That's what I love. You see, they put their personalities into it, and it's amazing to watch. It's, especially like say Nathan will use as example. We know he's never done it before. We see him do that. He's done it a couple of times, hasn't he? Chorus as well, and it's just it's lovely to watch.
Mm.
So it's lovely to see. So and you sort of feel good as well because you're giving someone a chance to get their voice out there on something, and yeah, no, it's really. No, it's really nice thing to do, a nice thing to see as well, because you've helped them in seeing them progress and bloom and everything as well. So yeah, it's a really nice thing to be a part of.
Yeah.
That's why one of the things I love about this working project is like giving these other people chances as well. It's like Magpie gave me the chance and come from there. So it's like giving something back out there. It's a really nice thing to be a part of.
Yeah, because the other podcast that I do, it's the Insanimators, and some of us do animation. Sure, most of us are artists. I'm not, but I'm doing the voice, part of the voice acting angle of that. But what we like to do is we like to promote independent creators who are working on their own things, webcomics, music, all kinds of other stuff, because we believe in getting more attention to talent that really kind of deserves that chance. And it's been
so
really
much
fun.
fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it's been really
yeah.
fun seeing all these different kinds of talent and the kind of visions that they have, which has just been like, for me, it's been really. It's kind of like learning about history almost. You see things that you did not expect to see, like as we were talking about earlier. Assassin's Creed Origins is based in Egypt. Odyssey is based in ancient Greece. And, I knew nothing about Egypt before I played this. And this, as I said, not a good, like, historical lesson, but a good, like, primer, I guess. It was the same thing for Odyssey about ancient Greece. And then, as I mentioned, it was interesting to learn that there are legit Roman ruins across the UK. So
Absolutely.
It's always interesting to see all these different things that happen in it. And I take the same angle with seeing all kinds of new projects that come out that people work on, their own webcomics and all that. And it's really fun to see where all these different imaginations go.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's exciting to watch something you knew and you see it developing. It's wonderful. It's like the ones you've been showing me as well.
Yeah, maybe don't say if you're not supposed to say anything.
Yeah.
Okay, no, you showed me a lot of things in the past, and it's nice to see all these different things out there, not part of the mainstream things, but other bits out there. And yeah, I think it's just nice to see all the different stuff. And as you say, people's imaginations, what they come up with, and the storylines and everything. It's really exciting to watch.
Yeah. It's always been fun. It's like when I first saw the Mayhem pilot. I honestly thought I was looking at kind of like a slightly remastered like 80s cartoon that I had never seen before. But then I started I look at it more and I'm like, this is kind of cool. This is kind of like batshit insane and I love it.
Yeah.
It's like there was one of the scenes that always sticks out to me is it's like a panning zoom, something like that. I don't remember. Where it's just a big gathering of all these different villains, and one guy just casually walks along with a cloak, stabs another dude in the back, and just keeps going like nothing happens.
That's it, yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't care, right?
Okay, I'll just carry on,
So it was.
Okay, so what's like a good funny way to like introduce the fact that we're like just all villains and they don't care? We'll just have some dude murdered.
That's it.
It was so fun to watch how everything plays out. Especially with the way that it ends with the Queen Bee, and I was just like, "This is insane," and I already love this character, so I want to see more of it. But then you start looking at like the fan community you guys have around Sir Mayhem, and there's so many OCs that people have made around this one setting.
Yeah.
It blows me away to see how many more imaginations. It blows me away to see how many more imaginations gather around one idea, and that's just the one idea. With how many more there
people
are.
Ask me, "Oh, am I allowed to make an original character?" And I'm like, "Of course you can. I want to see it."
excited to see it, aren't we?
It's always exciting when you see people come up with characters like just so they can fit into the universe you created. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I love hearing it, like where people write their stories and stuff like that about our characters.
And it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's humbling as well. It's honoured that they've liked it so much that they want to create their own character to be in it. It really is an honour, and it's like, thank you so much, you know. No,
Yes, you do.
yeah, you do. Oh.
It's always interesting to see the kind of like connections that people make in these fan communities too. Like the as I mentioned, the Insanimators before, we met in another Hasbin fan Discord server, and we just kind of grew our own thing from there after other BS happened. But we're all friends because of that, and we're all finding other connections that we enjoy being a part of too. And so I imagine like how many more friendships and groups are formed out of all these other communities like Sir Mayhem. And it catches me off guard, just the kind of people you guys attract with all these different ideas. Like, a while back I had talked with Hellbent, and I just kind of assumed he was just another fan, just another fan who happened to make it to an admin, and I didn't know until a few days after I talked to him that he apparently used to be a part of Dolan Planet, or Planet Dolan.
Yeah, I think he's
it,
still doing great for him. I think so.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know if really...
It was
Of course,
hilarious.
he does all for Captain Divine as well.
Yeah.
And he's got, oh my God, he's got that perfect superhero douchey voice. He plays it so well. Oh my God, he's got the most amazing voice.
For me, it was hilarious when I mentioned it to my brother. I did not know who he was up until I talked to my brother about it, and he was like, hold on, from Planet Dolan? I'm like, I've never heard of this.
It's like, honestly, like people are not like what, like I don't know what you expected, but like I know I have a few friends who worked on like big projects like this, but they're like really like sweet and like they're just like normal people, really. You don't. I mean.
Well, that's kind of what it goes into when I talked about earlier that all these people who have so much like attention and influence, it's easy to forget that they're just like the three of us. We're just regular people who do things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think the Comic Con, I think, has got a lot to contribute to this because all the people who all get together in our costumes, or if you don't want interests and stuff. And it's just amazing. I mean, I've never been to a Comic Con all the years I've been going and never had a bad experience. You meet so many wonderful people and
Comic Con is so nice.
Oh yeah, Robin, Penguin in Gotham. Yeah, he's lovely. Yeah.
The perfect example of like someone who's like a big actor now, I guess, but he's like really, I don't know, he doesn't feel like talking to an actor
No,
when
he's
you
just like
speak to
talking
him.
to like a,
Because like ever since I saw him the first time, I met him like maybe like 4 or 5 times at Comic Con now, and every time I see him, he asks like, "Oh, how's your project going?" And like the second time he met me, he still
He's
remembered
interested.
my
He's
name
very-
and everything.
He's very interested in people, and when you're waiting to talk to him, he's talking to people, and he's so interested in people. It's not just sign, off you go, next one. He talks to people, and people. When I first met him, I was not shocked, but people were giving him presents and everything, and I was just like, now I understand why, because he's got such a connection with his fans and people. He's just so interested, and he's not just all me. Oh no, wonderful. He asks questions about you. He's so interested in other people. It's wonderful to meet. So I mean, they say never meet your heroes, you'll be disappointed, but
No, it's true.
no, exactly. But I mean, when I met a comic, I met Carrie Fisher, bless her, years ago at New York Comic Con, and she was absolutely lovely. She was really nice. I think she was the first major person I met, and I was nervous as anything. It was me and my sister in New York, and I went up to her, and she was absolutely lovely lady, and I was so sad to hear when she died. But yeah, no, it's everything we met has been really nice, haven't they?
Rapid, especially, it's crazy because like he meets like thousands of people all the time, but like, and I met him like maybe a year after the first time I met him first, or a couple of months at least, and he still like remembered my name. And then I showed him pictures of Paul's cosplay and of his art, and I told him all about him and stuff. And the next time when he met him,
Yeah.
he remembered. He was like, "Oh, you're Paul," and I love
I
you.
know, it's like, oh my God, yeah, it's amazing, and it makes you feel it's nice to know that the actors you admire and the characters they play, that they're a nice person in real life as well. Because I'm sure there's people out there who's not been very nice. I mean, I've not met one.
Which one was that actress at Comic Con was really rude?
But apparently, yeah, she was just like, I'm not, just have your picture and go,
One that was where you had to take your picture, but you had to look away from her.
You couldn't,
Instead, like
you couldn't look at her because, you couldn't look at her, you couldn't stand anywhere near, you couldn't talk to her or anything. I'm thinking, what's the point? Because you're there to meet your fans. You're there to. I know these photos is quite quick. You just can't. But when I met Jason Momoa, he and Dwayne Fisher, who was Cyborg. They were like, shook my hands, fist bumped me, mucking about with my top hat and that sort of thing. Even in that short time, they were taking the time out to and they were having a good time. They were having a laugh. And it was nice to be a part of. And then behind me was this little boy in a wheelchair dressed as the Flash. It was so sweet. And of course, they made such a fuss of him and everything, and he was beaming. And it's just nice that they were having fun with it as well. And it makes you have fun as well. And it just makes the experience so much better. Really, yeah, it's cool.
It was interesting for me because just last night I was at this little like function for one of the radio shows that I listen to in my area, and the two people who like lead the show weren't there because they're always quite busy running the entire business, but the other three that are producers on the show, they're just kind of like they're extra voices and they help out with the show and all that. They were all there, and it was really fun to talk to them. And when you talk to them, you realize they're just doing the same thing you are. They're just there having drinks, just having their own fun. And when you talk with them about the people who do lead the show, it's like there was one point where the guy who leads the show, Rob, his wife ended up getting to this really like nasty experience with a restaurant they got DoorDash through, and he just almost lost it on his show at the restaurant. And I remember writing in saying, now I'm scared to meet Rob. And he's like, no, please don't be afraid. Just don't like be hostile towards my wife or, my people on the show. And when I was there last night talking with one of the producers, he said, no, dude, he's a really cool guy. He's almost like a really big teddy bear. He's just really defensive over, the people close to him.
You can get very protective as well, about people you work with and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, definitely. I
Me
mean,
too.
if I saw someone shouting at Magpie, I'd be in there like a shot. It's I mean, my real job, I work in customer service. So you do get quite a few hostile people, and if I see if I see one of my colleagues being like shouted at in the face, I'm like in there and step back, get away. Yeah, so I can understand that protective element.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it's that just for me that just kind of contributes to the idea that they're just normal people because if anybody else that we knew was I'm sure we all know people who are also very protective, and they're not leading a radio show or TV show, some massive project like that. They could just be another person, and they're just as defensive over you because you're basically family.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, is that? I mean, yeah. I call my Mayhem family, don't we?
No, yeah.
So the Mayhem family, and yeah, it's lovely. It's really nice.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go into another question before we get to the closing bit. Which are there any particular like experiences that either of you two have had since Mayhem started, or hell, even in your whole careers at this point? That have been like a particularly powerful learning experience for either of you?
I would say all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since the pilot, I'm learning all the time and I'm experiencing new things. Meeting meeting people like yourself, brilliant people who have these podcasts and so much, learning so much what people do and stuff. It's just I'm constantly learning, and I love that because each day is like a different experience. And meeting these brilliant, talented people is just amazing. It's a good time at the moment for me. And ever since that pilot episode, it's just been my life has changed completely. So it's all been it's all been positive, and the reviews we got and everything, and all the different experience we've had has been wonderful. And I'm looking forward to more brilliant experiences in the future.
Things the same, really. I mean, I don't know, because for me it's like very like technical because I like manage the production and stuff. So
Right.
I think once I figured out like how to like make it work smoothly, I guess it's not. I mean, it's very time consuming, but I don't think it's like as hard as you expect because then you just need to like really keep track of everything. And
I mean, she's
so
the hardest working person I've ever met in my life. She's
Really?
always work. It's wonderful. And then I keep saying to her, have a bit of time to yourself, kick back for an hour, relax. And she's going, but I feel guilty. If I sit there doing nothing for an hour, I feel guilty. I could be getting on doing this and that. But I said, everyone needs a bit of time to kick back. But then, and what you said the other time, I remember saying, just kick back and then just, I think a couple of hours later, I said, now, how's your day gone? I said, yeah, I've done all my commissions and everything. I've just been working on the Mayhem thing and relaxing. And that was really nice to hear because, you sort of, working on that, you still find that relaxing and everything. But you do work. I keep saying more time for yourself.
well, maybe work for me because mayhem is
No, it doesn't
when
even
I
work for
wanna-
me. It's something I enjoy doing. It's relaxing for me. I love drawing the thing. Well, when we work on the comics, it's always we have a good laugh and a
Yeah.
good thing, and it's always feel you've accomplished something. But it's more relaxing, something you can just chill out and stuff. So yeah, I'm really lucky that we creative people. We have all this creativity to work on and stuff, and it's lovely to get out on the pad or painting or whatever media you decide to do it on. It's really nice.
I'm going to be teaching you painting backgrounds.
Yes, exactly.
Sure.
See, I'm learning all the time.
All
I
the
love
time.
teaching you stuff because it's, I don't know, you're always willing to learn.
I love learning. That's what life is all about, is experiencing new things and constantly learning. That's what makes life worth living.
That's true.
It's always fun to learn new things because it always blows away your entire mind when you realize, oh wow, that's not what I thought it was.
And it opens up new possibilities as
Yeah.
well. And as I say, you meet new people, you learn more things, you see things out there, and of course, it opens a new window, with all these different things as well. That's what I love about it. It's not just learning something and that's it. It's the other possibilities it contains as well, and it's really exciting.
Right. So I guess this will go into the final closing bit for us, because I know you guys have your own thing you got to do pretty soon. This is a question that I always close things out with is, do you guys have any like words of wisdom or like advice for people when it comes to, making your own project, kind of like Sir Mayhem, an animation, webcomic, music, whatever it is, or even just life in general?
I've seen a lot of people like ask this and also say, it's like just start it because people sometimes wait. They're like, oh, but my art isn't good enough yet, or like, oh, but and I don't think that's right because I think you learn through like practicing as well.
That's what I've learned because I had that attitude, I'm not good enough, and no one would be interested in stuff. And I've had a big learning curve, and it's just put your stuff out there. If you enjoy doing it, have a good time, put it out there. It's everyone's got their own styles, everyone's got their own way of drawing and stuff. I don't think no style or anything is better than everyone else. It's all good in their own ways, and I think just have confidence in your own work. That's what I've learned. I wish I'd done this a lot sooner. So have confidence in your own work, put it out there because there's going to be people out there who will love it as much as you, and go for it.
Yeah, because
And have fun doing it.
post it, and what I do is I share my work with people as well. So let's say I say, oh, I loved your stuff. Can I show you mine and stuff?
Yeah.
And then
And it's sharing, and you're making friends, and you're getting out there, and that's what it's all about. And meet up at Comic Cons and have a fun and put your work out there. And as I say, just have fun doing it. Life is full of experiences. Just grab it with both hands and do it.
I know, because I mean, the worst that can happen is, let's say I show my thing to someone and they don't respond. I mean, even if, like, let's say I annoyed them because they didn't want to see it, then I guess it wasn't worth the time anyway. So, I'm not really. But then if you show something to someone and they love it, then maybe they can be a part of it later on, or like they can help you, or like there's always, I don't know, I always share my stuff
You
to
never know
everyone.
what's around the next corner. So, go for it. What's the worst that can happen?
I know, like even when we go to like small comic shops and stuff, I say, "Oh, we have that project. You want our card to see our comics and stuff." So even if like it doesn't really like do anything, just but maybe one time there's one that want it.
It's like my hairdresser when I would get chatting and stuff, and I gave him the cards and everything, and he always asked me, "Oh, I watched you animate; it was brilliant," and all what have you got doing? And he's always excited to hear what you do and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and it's and it's just getting out there, meeting people, and just having fun and making the most out of life.
Because the thing too is that sometimes people say, "Oh, I have this idea," but then when you ask, they don't have anything to show.
No,
so I think it's like you need to create something, even if it's like a comic, because usually comics you can do them on your own, or if you're a voice actor, if it's like not a podcast, like a show, but it's just the audio bits. Like things like this. So you have things ready to show people when you talk about your project. Because if I hear about a project but there's nothing there, then I'm not really interested because there's nothing to see. So I feel like, oh well, I'll just wait until I have something to see.
Proud. I think be proud of your work because no one can do what you can do.
Yeah.
Everyone's individual. Everyone's got theirs. So own it. Be proud of it and put it out there. And there's always going to be people who don't like things. There's going to be people who love. So focus on the positivity. I know it's easier said than done sometimes, but own what you do, be proud of it and put it out there because only you can do. I mean, everyone in this world, there's only a handful of creative people who can draw and do their own thing, and we're the lucky ones because we can put it out there and get enjoyment from it and influence other people and get influenced by other people.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say positivity brings positivity because I've seen like some people like let's say apply for things and they say, "Oh, my work is shit, but I'm gonna apply anyway."
Yeah,
I don't like that. Really grinds me.
That's what I used to think, and then now I'm like no, and it's just like own what you do. Be proud of it.
Don't ever like put negativity like that because then if people like go see your page and they see your shit all over your work, it's not gonna make them want to work with you.
My advice: be proud of what you do and own it. Yes. Anything you do in life, own it.
Yeah, like but people like to see people be passionate about their characters and their stories.
And if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. That's what life's. What you learn from your mistakes and you move on.
Yep.
So yeah.
Because
yes, definitely.
Yeah, those chances to grow are always there. It's like you may look at your art style now and you may not, think very highly of it, but even if you think it's really good, it could still be a little bit different a month down the line, a year down the line.
It's like we look at things we've done like years ago and think, oh my God, no. But then at the time, you do think it's good and you do like it. But then you progress, you learn more, you make your style better, you even adapt to new styles as well.
I remember when I look back on my first Kina comics, like the first issue that I put out, it was like a couple of years ago now, maybe like 4-ish years ago, maybe 5. And like I cringed so hard, and I look at
it. I would look at it and think that's amazing. Love that artwork. So people are going to love it. And then I said, there's always going to be people who doesn't like it. It's not their cup of tea, but that's fine. Move on, but focus on the people who do like it. Focus on yourself, what you do like, and progress it. And as I say, be proud of what you do.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we managed to get into that one because I don't think it's one of those things people hear enough, or like they hear it a lot and they just don't let it sink in.
That's it. I think especially the last year we've had with COVID and everything, it's been a very stressful time for people, and it's easy for that negativity to creep in your mind, that self-doubt. And I think we need more positivity, we need more light, we need more encouraging each other, helping each other as well.
I think some people do it because they don't want to seem egotistical as well. So like instead of like saying, "Oh, here's my work, I'm quite happy about how it turned out," even if they mean it, they're gonna say something like, "Oh, here it is, it looks like shit, but I'll post it anyway."
Yeah, like someone draw this picture, I love it, I hope you love it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So like, that's what I've learned over the years.
Yeah, without saying like, "Oh, I'm the best at everything," but like it's still it makes you want to talk to them more.
Encourage each other. If you like someone's work, encourage them. Say, "I love your work. I want to see more." I think we all need a bit of more positivity.
And definitely I see also to not compare yourself to other
No,
artists.
don't compare
'Cause-
because everyone's different what they do. It's like what Raven, Magpie. So I call her Raven because that's the character she plays when she's
Okay.
in the Raven thing. So she's got about 10 different names, haven't you?
I know.
Yeah, it's like what she does is totally different to what I do. I mean, when I first saw her work, I compared my work to her all the time,
I know.
and it's just like, no, what she does her thing, I do my thing, and it's not better than it's like when you see artists in a comic book. What I love, you get different artists. It's not the same artist working on the same comic. You get different artists working on different, and it's lovely to see different art styles, even though it's making you think, oh, that's a bit different. It's something new, and it's how they would draw that character and what costumes and that sort of thing. So no, embrace it, take it, and encourage each other.
Absolutely. All right, so that's I think that'll be the last of it that we're gonna do for this interview. It was actually just really fun to talk with you both about all of this.
You will always fun to talk to you.
Yeah, nice to talk to you. Nice to meet you.
Likewise. So with that, we're gonna be closing out the stream, you guys. It was really fun talking with these two, just amazing talents and just all around amazing
thank
people.
you.
So I have links to their well, my mind blanked right there for a second. I have links to both of their Twitters individually beneath the Sir Mayhem official Twitter. They're all in the description below. Give them a follow, and then give Gab Hominem a follow if you want to see more of these kind of discussions coming up in the future. Gab Hominem is on its own YouTube channel now. This was the first stream we've had on its own actual YouTube channel. So I'm glad we managed to get that in. Yeah. So with that, keep an eye on everything, you guys. Give them a follow, and check out Sir Mayhem because it's just really fun. But until until the next time, you guys, you all have a wonderful day. At least over here in the U.S. Anybody else in Europe, because it's getting late over there, you all have a wonderful night. Just otherwise, have a great weekend, everybody.
And you, mate. Thank you very much.
Likewise.
Oh.